The Destiny 2 Lightfall campaign definitely gives people a lot to talk about, both good and bad. In my experience for Lightfall's first week, most of the bad comes from the campaign itself, while most of the good comes from the combat, the design, environment, and quality of life changes. Note that there will be spoilers for the Lightfall campaign in this video, so if you still want to avoid spoilers, you can come back later after you've played it for yourself. So, the Lightfall campaign will inevitably be compared to Witch Queen for obvious reasons, and in my opinion, Witch Queen is the highest bar that Bungie has set for their campaigns, and Lightfall doesn't exactly live up to it, at least narratively. It is definitely hit or miss, with more misses than hits, as the campaign seems to leave a lot of questions, both old and new, completely unanswered. There's too much going on with minimal explanation other than Callus is doing something bad, so just go there and try to fix it or stop it. And most of the campaign is mostly like that. As for the new characters, Rohan and Nimbus, they felt refreshing. A new anchor to what Neo and Muna and the Cloud Striders are all about. But Nimbus just feels like there's a lot more character development to flesh out there. Nimbus sounds like a teenager who takes the situation a little too lightly, especially after the death of their hero and mentor, which, by the way, were we supposed to feel attached to Rohan after just a few missions? His sacrifice felt super rushed, and it just didn't have the weight that the writers probably wanted him to have. But yeah, Nimbus just shakes it right off in the next mission. Really? And don't get me started on Nimbus's humor. That felt kind of forced too. But I guess that means that leaves plenty of room for character growth. So yeah, not everything about Nimbus was bad, but damn, Nimbus definitely isn't one of my favorite characters. Speaking of the other characters, they kept talking to us like we had all of the knowledge and the backstory of everything they were talking about. The obvious standout here is the Veil. The entire campaign revolved around it and its significance, but they clearly forgot to send us the memo. Like, what is it? What does it do? What's its significance? But come on, Bungie, give us something to chew on, right? The cutscenes, they helped out, but not by much. Like, sure, they added nice visuals and it hyped me up every time the game would load into one, but I was never fully satisfied with the cutscenes, as it all either had cliffhangers or just simply gave us enough to not answer relevant questions that we might have had about the story. The campaign itself has 8 missions, with the 7th mission in the story being the best, and I feel like the fight in the large area where you fight with Keitel and her elite legion of Cabal against Callus's Shadow Legion and a few Tormentors, that was definitely the best part of the campaign. The final story mission felt a little off, but it was difficult enough that the final fight felt like it had a little bit of heavy weight to it. It's just that, narratively speaking, it just wasn't enough. Speaking of the difficulty, my team and I found the final boss fight difficult, and took us multiple wipes and loadout tweaks to finally bring down. As for the Tormentors, they felt like they posed a proper threat, like real mini-boss energy there. Nothing too big, but not something you can just breeze through, even with the fireteam taking its attention away from you. The difficulty revamps of the campaign felt just about right for the average skill level player, which I consider myself and most of my teammates belong to. We did it in a group, the campaign, in legend difficulty, so we can't really comment much on the solo experience. We'll probably do that some other time. Neo Muna looks and feels quite grounded. It has a Night City cyberpunky vibe to it, which isn't exactly my favorite, but I can still definitely appreciate the design and the work that the devs put into it. Gameplay-wise, I think it has enough new stuff to explore that'll keep the players busy for a while. Osiris' character development. It felt like Osiris is still coming to grips with the loss of Sagira, but you can see that they've written him in a way where he's slowly supposed to learn to grow past it with a little help from Rohan, but yeah, we all know what happens there. Rohan doesn't really stick around for too long. There's clearly intention that Osiris is supposed to learn from his mistakes, and he'll be trying to prevent others from making the same ones in the future. Now, on to Strand. First things first, it's green. Okay? Strand was too on and off during the campaign, I feel like. Not giving players enough time to really sink their teeth into the subclass until after the campaign was completely over. There wasn't really enough time for players to really sink their teeth into Strand as a subclass, other than teases of its use here and there. Now, I understand that for the story and the lore it was paced this way, but I was really hoping that they'd give us Strand, the full subclass, a little earlier so that we'd have time to fully build craft into Strand as we were going into the deeper parts of the campaign. But the story had to be in the way, and it felt like Strand was just there as the highlight of the gameplay, but it didn't exactly capture what I felt like it should have been in the campaign. The subclass itself feels great. It feels unique and has its own identity. It also has a lot of potential to shake up the meta for both PvE and PvP. And as early as now, you can see people using Strand to speedrun and skip huge portions of raids and dungeons by grappling onto rockets or Lumina shots or whatever else the community may come up with. Strand is clearly the highlight of the Lightfall expansion, and the builds that you can see popping up on YouTube are just astounding. I can't wait to try most of the stuff that the YouTubers and the community are putting out. Yeah, that's about it. The campaign itself was kind of weak, but the core gameplay of Destiny is still solid and still the foundation as to why it still feels great to play. Now it's up to Bungie to fix and improve it moving forward, because they've already proven that they can do good storytelling with the Witch Queen. So let me know down below what your thoughts are about Lightfall, about the campaign, about Strand, the new weapons, the quality of life improvements, or whatever you care most about Destiny. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.